how to configure Ansible for VMware. Ansible provides various modules to manage VMware infrastructure, which includes data center, cluster, host system, and virtual machine. I will show you step by step how to prepare your Ansible controller to interact with VMware infrastructure. This initial configuration sometimes is a roadblock for some VMware users to start using Ansible. I'm Luca Berton and welcome in today's episode of Ansible Pilot. The supported nodes include all the modern releases of VMware vSphere. The full list includes vSphere 6, 5.5, 5.1 and 5.0. Ansible VMware modules are written on top of pipevmonme. Pipevmonme is a Python SDK for the VMware vSphere API that allows users to manage ASX, ASXi, and vCenter infrastructure. This library interacts with the VMware vSphere API that allows you to manage ASX, ASXi, and vCenter in order to execute some Ansible code. The pipevmonme library supports Python 3.7 as well as 3.4 and following. The collection community.vmware module and plugin is an Ansible code that manages various operations related to virtual machine in the given ASXi or vCenter server. As the name suggests, this resource is provided with only community support, so is not directly maintained by the Ansible engineer team, but is stable enough. Demo time. How to configure Ansible for VMware. First of all, you need the pipevmonme library, the VMware vSphere API Python binding. Secondly, you need to install the Ansible community.vmware collection. And once everything is done on the node, you could configure the Ansible inventory on Ansible controller machine and run your first Ansible playbook. For example, the VMware_guest_info module to verify the successful configuration. Ready for rock and roll? Welcome to my IDE. Let's start writing Ansible code together. First of all, requirement YML. This is the collection that we need, the declaration in a YAML file. So under the collection list, let me add the name of community.vmware. This is the name of the collection that we would like to download from Ansible Galaxy registry. And that's it. We don't need to add anything more. Now let's start our Ansible playbook. This is a simple, let's say, hello world playbook. So let's give it a name. The most simpler is for accessing some information about a VM. So info VM demo that is going to target host, localhost. We would like to execute this code as the current machine Ansible interpreter. Let me disable the become privilege. We don't need root privilege for this script. Enable system information, so let's disable also facts gathering. Let's define the namespace of a collection under community.vmware. So we could shorten the name in this playbook. Pre-task, this is quite useful. Let me include one variable file, in my case vars.yml. I found more convenient to have a separate file where to store all the sensitive information on my cluster. So the playbook will be more easy to read, especially the task list with only one task named get VM info. So we are going to use the VMware underscore guest underscore info Ansible module under the community.vmware collection. Some parameter, let's start with a hostname, and let me define a variable. This could be very useful for the following lesson using the same variable for different module. So hostname will be vcenter underscore hostname, as well as username vcenter underscore username, and so on and so forth. For password, same story, vcenter underscore password. Don't worry, we will define all these variables together. Just be patient. What else? Also, we need the data center. This is quite important information, no? Okay, great. So hostname is basically the vCenter entry point with username, password. Let's define also the data center if you have more than one. And let me set also the validation of SSL certificate. Let me remind you that the cluster came with a self-signer certificate, so sometimes we need to disable this stuff. And the virtual machine name. Here we are, done. And what we need, what do we do with this result? Well, we would like to save in an Ansible variable called detail underscore VM underscore info. And let me add another task to print it out on screen. So, what Ansible module? Well, the ansible.builtin.debug module print information on screen. Let me use the parameter var that defines the variable that we would like to display on screen. And we are done. In a simple 23 line of code, we are able to connect Ansible to VMware and get information about a virtual machine. Unbelievable? It is. Okay, inventory, let me define what are the inventory, in my case only localhost, no more parameter needed. And the variable part, of course, we need to define each of these variables with the value. This could be very sensitive information, so I'm going to provide some demo content. So in my case, hostname is vmware.example.com, this is my domain. And data center will be VMware data center. Feel free to customize with your real data. vCenter validate underscore cert. In my case, I have self-signer certificate, so let me switch to false. It's better in production environment to have a real certificate. Username will be username at, for example, vsphere.local. This if you use local authentication, or if you have other things you need to adapt. And the password, this is the most sensitive information. I'm writing some clear text password. This is obviously an example. And VM name is the name of virtual machine. And that's it. As you can see, this is a good approach to separate a variable from the main Ansible playbook. So everything is set it up. This is a simple hello world to demonstrate how to connect to a VMware infrastructure and list the detail of a virtual machine. Let's move on to the terminal. Now the funny part, the interactive demo. So welcome to my terminal. Let me connect to my demo machine with SSH DevOps username at demoexample.com. I have already copied all the file under the VMware directory, the one that we just typed together. So now we can move on to our demo. So for example, let's try to execute our Ansible playbook with Ansible-playbook command -e the inventory and the name of the playbook, vminfo.yml. As you as expected, we have an error about a Python library missing pyvmomi. You remember, this is quite useful and strictly mandatory. This is the library that interacts directly with VMware API. So let's try to install with pip the Python package install. Oh yes, we have a Python 3, so pip 3 install and the name of the library. We got an error, permission denied to install on user local bin. Well, because our user is too restrictive, so let me switch to root and repeat all the steps. pip 3 install pyvmomi, this is the name of the library. I already have all the dependencies, so the installation was super smooth, and now version 7 is currently installed on my system. Yes, this is global installation, so all the distribution wide. So now I could return to my DevOps user and execute my code. Oh, another thing, we need to make sure that the community.ansible collection is successfully installed. So let's double check with ansible-galaxy install-r for all the dependency and requirement YML. The result is no output, which means everything is already satisfied. Great! We are one step away to our successful execution. Again, let's retype Ansible-playbook and the name of the playbook, and oh, drumroll! This time it looked like spending more time and no error about the Python library. So what is going on under the scene is that the Python code is translated to the Ansible code is translated to Python, sent via API to the target machine, and return this wonderful information. As you can see, this is a virtual machine that is running on my cluster, and I have all the information about it on screen. Yay! Great! This is a kind of hello world to certify that our Ansible is successfully communicating with the VMware infrastructure. Are you excited? Now you can move on with your automation journey, and you could automate a lot of things on your VMware infrastructure. Now you know how to configure Ansible for VMware, and nothing can stop you to automate more and more of your VMware infrastructure with Ansible. Thank you for watching. I hope this lesson was useful for you. See us on the next automation challenge of Ansible Pilot, and have a great day. See ya!